Hello everyone, my name's Charanjit from Asian Women Wisdom, and I'm doing a series of talks about what it means to be an empowered Asian woman. And I'm so delighted to have as my guest today Simran Randhawa. Hi Simran.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm
Pleasure.
so happy to be here.
Before we begin the interview, I just want to say Simran is a young, up-and-coming superstar, and
Very kind.
it's absolutely the truth. And she does many things. Firstly, she's part-time editor of an online magazine called Galden. That's right. Which gives voice to women of colour. And then secondly, she's a part-time model and has appeared in many videos and campaigns, and notably with Nike, H&M and River Island. She's also appeared in a music video by a grime artist, Skepta, and also done some work with ID magazine. As well as that, she's also done some spoken word poetry.
Yeah, the list just goes keep going.
Absolutely. And you know, another amazing fact is she has an Instagram following which reaching almost 100,000.
Yeah.
At
the time of recording.
Absolutely incredible. So you know that makes you incredibly influential.
Yeah.
And what I'd really like to ask you, Simran, was that something that you always thought you would do? I mean, you know, obviously you do a lot of stuff in the media. Did you always think that you'd be this successful?
Like the more influence thing kind of just came out of nowhere. Like it really snowballed, I'd say, in the last year or so, just under a year now. And it just kind of accumulated out of nowhere. I guess like people just gravitated to my profile or whatever. I actually always thought I would do a lot more behind the scenes stuff. Like I do model, but I thought like long term I'd do more editing and writing. So yeah, that kind of influencer stuff was never a conscious decision to actually do. It just kind of happened. And I'm still kind of like figuring it out, I guess.
Right, so perhaps you were just in the right place at
in
the right time.
Yeah, Instagram being the right place.
Wow.
It's like I'm grateful to have the platform though, because it means that I can speak about things which are important to me, and when I do so, it kind of when I do so, it does resonate with like my audience as well. So yeah, I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, so it was never really kind of intentional, that's what I hear.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah.
So what would you say is the source of your success? Would you say, you know, it had a lot to do with your family background? Was it your schooling or your education? Or would you say you always had a certain mindset that always motivated you, always encouraged you, always moved you forward?
I think it was like kind of what you said before about like just kind of doing the right things at the right time. And I think I've just always been a very creative and curious person, so I've always liked to, I think like, so the reason why I have my foot in so many doors, I guess, is because I've always just really been into exploring different things and like seeing what I like creatively and ways for me to express myself. So I think it was just like my continuous expression. And I think like for things like Instagram particularly, my expression through my style and through my writing seems to really resonate with my audience, like I said. So yeah, I think it was just like my curiosity and like just curiosity.
Yeah, not sort of being content with just what you had around you, but always wanting to maybe step out of the box a little.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it.
That's kind of like what I see when I see you.
Yeah.
You kind of like do your own thing.
Yeah, very much, very independent.
Yeah, that's right. So you know, then that's absolutely just incredible that you do that. You know, you don't follow anyone in particular, that you totally come from your own, you know, originality, so to speak. So what would you say stops women from being at the source of their own creativity and their own self-expression?
Asian women in particular?
Yes, yeah. Asian women in particular.
I would say a lot of it is our culture. I find, and just kind of living in a very patriarchal culture, which is quite restrictive on women in many aspects. I think as Asian women, we have a lot of expectations placed on us from like a very young age on how we should be, how we should act, like I was saying, a lot of things like to prepare us for our marriageability. So I feel like in that aspect, a lot of things restrict us. I know, like me growing up, I was always very conscious of my behavior, like, oh my god, don't want my uncles to see me doing, I don't know, not even doing anything bad, just maybe like going to the shops after school.
Yes.
And that being seen as like a bad thing, like why didn't you go straight home, type of thing. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just like our culture, which can be quite restrictive on women.
Yeah, so there's certain expectations, perhaps there's certain stereotypes as to what you should be
Be
doing,
like,
not be doing, which the community, the society, the family kind
very
of...
much like the people are going to talk quite mentality. Yeah,
and it is that kind of culture, isn't it, where what other people think and what other people say.
Like, because there's been like instances where I've done stuff and my mum has kind of been like, oh, I don't really care, but my dad would have been like, oh, what are people going to say? And so even though my mum's like, I don't care. So
as a consequence, would you say that coming from that kind of culture makes it more difficult for us?
I would say it's difficult for us to be outspoken in like our everyday lives, like day to day interacting with family, and that's why I think sometimes things like social media can be quite influential and quite powerful, because it gives voice in like a non-traditional space, and through that kind of, I guess, almost activism, you get to connect with other people in the community, in the culture, who you might not necessarily with like every day, like you might not see them walking down the road, but like through Instagram, I guess you almost build that kind of solidarity in your shared experience. So
you find basically you kind of connect with other people that you resonate with, and perhaps
and like, I guess, say, I don't know, if I see someone else talking about an experience which I go through as well, it's like validating on both sides, like, oh, you know, it is like a culture thing, it's not just my family, it's not just me, it's like a bigger kind of systemic issue.
So you find other people who you resonate with, and then you know, perhaps, you know, in numbers that gives you more strength, and gives you more encouragement to go out there and to do your thing, and to express yourself.
100%.
Yeah, so that's absolutely amazing. And kind of conversely, would you say that, you know, perhaps lots of things about our culture which actually supports our growth? Because you come from a pretty secure family background, so were your parents always very supportive of you kind of doing your own thing and branching out into the media?
My parents were never like, this is the, you know, like, want you to be a doctor, want you to be a dentist type thing.
Right,
my parents were never like that. My parents were always very much like, you know, study what you want to study, explore what you want to explore, but they always drilled into me the importance of like a career and the importance of being independent. So my parents were never my parents were never like, oh, you know, you've got to get married by 21. Like, they obviously did place that importance on marriage, but it wasn't like my be all end all. There was also a lot of emphasis placed on like being financially independent, and that a means to that would be like my career. So I guess in that sense, that was like, I was lucky with my family, and like also just having a lot of really influential, strong women in my family who've inspired me a lot, like my nanny and my mom and stuff like that, just have been very influential, and maybe not in like a typical way, like, oh, they did like a XYZ career, but just more seeing the way they navigated themselves in the world was like impactful on me.
So it sounds like they were pretty strong women in their own right. So they were great role models for you.
Definitely having good role models.
That's incredible. And so finally, I'd just like to ask you what advice you would give to other women about reaching their dreams and living fully self-expressed lives.
That's hard. I think my advice would be to try live your most authentic life and to express yourself in whatever capacity you can have, and not to always feel like you have to live your life in the living up to the expectations of others, and rather more just like your own expectations of your own self and what you feel like you can achieve, and just like believing in yourself, because I feel like in our culture a lot of women don't actually like see their own self-worth.
Yes.
And like realizing your own self-worth and knowing that you have so much to give to the world, and once you realize your self-worth, you know that like you don't have to settle for what I guess maybe you sometimes feel like you're expected to settle for.
Yeah. And just on that point, where would you say that self-worth would come from? Is it something that they have to generate from themselves?
Absolutely. No, but like honestly, like seeing other like, for me, I find it so empowering seeing other brown women doing incredible things, even if it's not directly related to like what I'm doing. And like it's like that whole thing that like, you know, we can be successful too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Thank you. And finally, I just really want to acknowledge you for being such an inspiration to many other young women out there who will be watching this and who might want to follow in your footsteps and pursue, you know, a career in media. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
pleasure.
For having me.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.